Oh, Zion Williamson. Oh, Zion Williamson. Man, what you done? You got this woman accusing you of freaky deaky and all kinds of stuff. I want to know, when did he do all this stuff? Because he ain't been on the basketball court. We didn't almost forgot that he even plays pro ball. He done spent more time doing all kinds of stuff than he's actually been on the court. So this alleged situation occurred in different states, and he's just one of those guys that you just have to scratch your head. You know, it was funny. I was talking to a buddy about him, and I said, between him and John Morant, it's like, what happened to these guys? Why these guys who show so much talent and what have you just kind of been indifferent? Zion is really a sad case because in Duke, when his shoe caught on fire that time, he looked like he was explosive. Big boy who looked like he was going to have part Shaq, part Barkley, spin move. And all he did was go to New Orleans and eat the gumbo and get into the voodoo and just be a big old boo-boo. I mean, we have not really even seen him. We don't even know what happened to him. And all the stuff that's going on with the trades and the body weight, he goes up and down. I'm like, man, you know, we don't even know where you are. We don't know what happened to this guy. But now when you hear these allegations, it's crazy. And it's got all the makings of disaster. So he's in denial. But, he clearly, his NBA career hasn't been a priority, because if it was, there's a lot of things that he wouldn't be caught up in that sadly he's been caught up in. Sadly, as I've said before, we don't really even talk about his career. This cat's been around, 5 years? Do we even remember 5 months of play from him? He's been a classic example of a cat who took the money, ran, and we don't know. So when you hear all this stuff going on with him, it's like, wow. He's one of the reasons why people don't like modern basketball, because he's a cat who had the goods. Went to Duke, and you thought with his explosion, his first step, he had Griffin come over from Cleveland to New Orleans. He looked like he was set. And I think now what's been the noticed thing about Zion Williamson? Half the people thought he was going to eat himself out the league. Well, now the freaky deaky might do him in. I mean, it's just crazy. I can't sit there and say that it isn't believable, because he doesn't even play. The dude really doesn't take care of himself, and his attitude has been kind of nonchalant. They done gone through coaches. They done brought in teammates. He didn't even really work with Brandon Ingram. So I don't really know what to say. It's just one of those head scratchers where they've been a waste. And they basically an auction block. Now he's been traded by Joe Dumars is in. But this here is a bad look, though. It's a bad look for discipline. It's a bad look for attitude. And he just seems like a guy that whatever he had, it's kind of come and gone already. But the main thing, we hope he can get his career back, be back on track. But it's bigger fish to fry. And sometimes these guys get so much money, notoriety, hype, hoopla, and they forget about who the most important person is, the person that they got to look at. So it's a crazy story to hear this about Zion Williamson, because this guy was supposed to be one of the faces of the league, was supposed to be part of the new generation. And all he's done is basically barely been it's like you see him, but you really ain't seen him. Riding the pine and, making excuses, just not into it. And it's a sad reality. A waste. And believe me, if David Stern was around, he'd have really been a half of a footnote. He wouldn't even been around this long. That's the thing that Adam Silver gave him some latitude. But I don't know what to say about the cat. This is some pretty serious lawsuit that's involved, and his thing does not look good. And I can't sit there and say that I'm shocked or surprised. Sad to say, because I don't even know when he plays. Because he doesn't hardly play. And right now, that's the least of his worries, to tell you the truth. Between his weight, his attitude, his actions, he's almost untouchable. What a waste. And it was a time that him and John Moran was supposed to be the next guys coming. And that has turned into something else completely. Some of these cats just can't handle that fame and fortune. So we'll see. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. My one time. Peace.